One killed, three others injured in D.C. shooting, police say. Washington, D.C. Police Chief Robert Contee says four people were shot, one fatally wounded in a shooting Sunday, WJLA. This was originally published June 20th, 2022 at 5:30 a.m. Washington, Gray News. A teen was killed and three others were shot, including a D.C. Metro police officer in a shooting Sunday, police said. Blue Lives Matter. We need to get the guns out of the hands of citizens so police can be safer and less likely to be trigger happy when engaging with rowdy civilians who they need to arrest or want to arrest. And we also need to get the guns out of the hands of citizens to protect our lives in church, school, movie theaters, whatever you're thinking of. America is definitely not the safest country in the world. And this is a shame that this happens in the nation's capital, which I believe also has very strict gun laws, which goes to show once again, it does not matter how strict the gun laws are, as long as we allow legal gun sales to continue, there will continue to be mass shootings, needless homicides, needless suicides, preventable suicides, and many other domestic disputes that end in violence or death. Police Chief Robert Contee said in a news conference posted to Twitter that the shooting happened during an unpermitted event called Moechella. He said the victim who died in the shooting was 15 years old. The officer and the two other adult victims had been taken to the hospital and are in stable condition. Contee said several hundred people were at the event, but police shut it down after multiple incidents. Other people were injured as a result of their legs or ankles being trampled on while leaving the area, he said. So not only do the guns hurt people, but they also cause collateral damage, with people stampeding out of an arena or a field or wherever this event took place at and hurting each other. The shooting occurred after the event was shut down. Let's go to this second article here. Teen killed in D.C. shooting at 14th and U Northwest. Officer, two others hurt. At least one person opened fire after police broke up the unpermitted Moechella event, D.C. Chief of Police Robert Contee said. This is by Brian Trujillo and Walter Morris of News 4 Reporter, published June 19th, 2022, updated on the 20th. So, a 15-year-old boy was killed and three other people, including a D.C. police officer, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, were shot and wounded near 14th and U Streets Northwest on Sunday, authorities said. Chase Poole was the shooting victim. His family told News 4 on Monday morning. We're working to learn more about who he was and the tragedy that took his life. By the way, let me pause and talk about this very quickly. The worst and sickest thing about America is that we don't view other Americans as American. So when I see this young boy, I see another American who died a preventable death because we allow a gun culture to exist. But there are so many other Americans who would see this and say, look, this is an example of black on black violence. This is an example of the pathological violence and brutality and savagery that exists within black people. And these are the same people that would tell you that I can't be racist, whatever, right? Retarded. It's ridiculous. I see a young American boy with a potential life that was lost and wasted over needless and senseless stupidity. There will always be murders. There will always be crimes of passion. There will always be criminals who will hurt people and kill people. But the murders and gun deaths that happen in America are absolutely preventable if we abolish the Second Amendment. And if you think I'm crazy for thinking this, how about this? You travel to other countries outside of America, ask them, how many mass shootings happen in their country? They'll say almost zero. Ask them how many homicides and murders happen due to gun violence in their country. They'll say very few and far in between. But in America, they have brainwashed you, literally brainwashed you, to think that this is normal. And it's absolutely not. We are all Americans. We should all love each other. We should all try to protect each other. We should try to have safer streets for our children, safer schools for our children, safer churches for our elderly. Everybody in America should be safe from gun violence. The search for the shooter or shooters continued Monday. The shooting began after two separate incidents followed what D.C. Chief of Police Robert Contee called an unpermitted event held by the group Moechella at about 6 p.m. They had promoted a Juneteenth event celebrating D.C. go-go music. Several hundred people gathered. At one point, there was some type of incident or fight among the crowd that was broken up, authorities said. Then, after a secondary incident, people started to flee, and some had their legs and ankles trampled. The incidents happened over about 2 hours, Contee said. We attempted to facilitate an event in this case where people showed up as a result of a social media posting. Contee said this was an unpermitted event. There were over 100 police officers that were there, fire and EMS workers that were there on the scene, and someone introduced a firearm onto the situation. So whether it was a permitted event or unpermitted event, that doesn't really matter at this point. What I'm really focused on right now is finding the person who took the life of this 15-year-old, who shot 2 other people and injured one of my officers, shot one of my officers on the scene at 14th and U Street. Once again, America is proving itself to be the embarrassment of the world. 15-year-old boys, 16-year-old boys, children at an elementary school, people shopping at a supermarket shouldn't be in fear of gun violence. Yes, this event was unpermitted. Yes, this event probably broke some city ordinance. But, you know, people will do dumb things, but it doesn't have to end in tragedies and death. Where are the good guys with guns? I thought the good guys with guns would cancel out all the bad guys with guns. I guess not. Where are, people say these guns come illegally. Every illegal gun was once purchased legally. They permeate our streets. They proliferate our society. And they allow our children to die. They allow our elderly to die. They allow innocent civilians to die. And they also cause police officers to die or lose their jobs because they shoot unarmed civilians because they're scared they have guns. Wake up, America. Wake up. This is sick. Our gun culture is sick. Abolish the Second Amendment. Be like every other major, civilized, post-industrial country in the world. Be safe. Put the guns down. Rest in peace to this young man. Full recovery to all the victims that were a part of this tragedy in D.C. And please end the mass shootings. Abolish the Second Amendment. My name is Simon Hill, and thank you.